I'm Chad Douglas. Our parent company Sinclair Broadcasting and KHQA continue to work for you, keeping you informed on complex political issues facing our nation. We now continue our Connect to Congress initiative with U.S. Representative Darin LaHood from Illinois' 18th District. He joins us via satellite in Washington, D.C. Hello, Congressman LaHood.
Great to be with you.
I first want to get your reaction to the resignation of NSA Director Michael Flynn. What do you think this does for the Trump administration moving forward?
Well, I think you have to have trust in your national security advisor. Clearly, the president did not. And when you have allegations of not being truthful, you need to get rid of those people in your administration. And I think the administration, particularly the president, did the right thing in asking for his resignation. And now we need to move on and find a national security advisor for the president. I know Vice President Pence is working on that. I think they have 3 candidates now. But you have to have somebody you can trust in that position. It is vitally important, and I'm glad they are moving on to do that. And I would also mention in previous administrations, for instance, in Ronald Reagan's administration, they went through 6 national security advisors. So this is not uncommon, but I'm just hopeful that we get a good person in place and do that quickly.
And what actions should Congress and the Trump administration now take regarding the provocative actions from North Korea with this most recent missile test?
Yeah, well, I think you have to take it very seriously. This is a rogue country, a rogue dictator, and we need to increase our sanctions and make sure those are fortified. We need to work with China. China is right next door. They supply them with many of their essential products, whether that's fuel or food. We have to put pressure on the Chinese. South Korea is our ally, and they're very scared about what North Korea and their dictator is doing. And so we have to work on all fronts to protect South Korea, protect our allies in the region, work with China and putting additional pressure on this rogue dictator and having increased sanctions. But we need to take it seriously.
Earlier this month, there was a lot of talk of sanctions between the ratcheting up of sanctions between Iran and the conflicting reports on whether sanctions on Russia may be eased. When it comes to Iran, do you support the new sanctions or do you think they would imperil the nuclear deal? For Russia, would you support any moves to ease those sanctions from the Trump administration?
Yeah, well, on Iran, I'm happy that the new president put in place 25 additional sanctions. He did that, I guess, 2 weeks ago. I think that's good. Iran continues to be adversarial to U.S. interests all around the world, whether that's in the Middle East, particularly in Syria and other parts in Yemen. They work against American interests. They are a theocracy. They are run by a dictatorship, and they don't have the best interest of America in mind. And so sanctions have to be strong. They have to be in place. We have to send a message. The president put them on notice that we're going to be serious about holding them accountable and making sure that they are not being disruptive to American interests, particularly in the Middle East. But I support continued sanctions in Iran and continue to work militarily and on national security issues to keep them in check. On Russia, I in some ways disagree with the administration. I think Vladimir Putin is a thug. I think he is a dictator. He was not elected by his people. He is somebody that comes from the KGB. I think we need to be very cautious and very concerned about him. And so I know a number of my other colleagues are concerned about that. We must treat Russia as a adversary because that's what they are. They need to prove to us they are in fact not working against us. And we also have to remember, I think the previous administration made a mistake by drawing red lines, particularly in Ukraine and Crimea. We have to be forceful, and if we say something, we have to back that up. But we need to treat Putin for what he is, and that is a dictator and a thug, and again, working against U.S. interests around the globe. And I'm confident in our new Secretary of Defense, our CIA director, that they understand that.
The cabinet confirmation process for President Trump seems to be taking longer than the past presidents, with President Trump having less confirmed than both former Presidents Barack Obama and George W. Bush at this point in their presidencies. Are there legitimate concerns now on Capitol Hill holding up some of these picks, or is the whole thing being hampered by politics?
Well, first of all, I would make the observation, I think the cabinet that the president put together is really top-notch. Smart, bright people, many of them from the private sector, many of them that have not been involved with government, so they bring a good perspective to the cabinet. And I think they're all well-qualified people, have gone through the background check. frankly, I think what the Senate Democrats are doing is a lot of politics. The election is over. The president won, and now we have to give him an opportunity to put in place his cabinet, his team. And the fact that it's taking longer than it did than the Bush administration or the Obama administration, I don't think is conducive to functioning government. And I think it's a lot of partisan politics. We need to get through that, put the cabinet in place, let the president start governing and laying out his agenda. That's what the American people want. Give him a chance. And I would ask that the Democrat Senate do that.
You also wanted to talk about congressional dysfunction. Can you explain what that is and what should be done about it?
Well, we clearly have to fix the way Congress operates. In my short time in Congress, you can see the dysfunction, whether it's in our budget process, the fact that we haven't passed a budget on time in 7 years. We're continually going up against a fiscal cliff and a debt ceiling. We have to function better. So I've been very proud. I introduced a piece of legislation this week with Congressman Dan Lipinski, who's a Democrat, on fixing Congress. We have to look at how we fix our institution, and we can do that internally. Our bill, it's called the Congress of Tomorrow, and really what that does is it puts in place a mechanism, a platform for ideas to be brought forth to fix Congress. We need to be looking at how we make Congress more effective, efficient, and accountable to the taxpayers. What we do is we set up a joint committee, bipartisan, bicameral, 12 House members, 12 Senate members, to meet in a joint committee. This has been done 4 other times, but it hasn't been done in 25 years. We think now is the time to do that. We have not passed all 12 appropriations bills in 20 years on time. There are many things that need to change in Congress. Our bill, if we get it passed, which I think we will set up this committee to really reform Congress, again, to make it more effective. I'm optimistic about that bill. We'll introduce it with about 60 co-sponsors this week, Republicans and Democrats, really a bipartisan way to look internally and be reflective on how we fix this institution. I think that's one step in the right direction, but we're going to have to continue to work on that to fix this place.
Representative LaHood, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.